Today, we are going to explore an history lovers and collectible coin from the United States, the 1989 Washington quarter dollar with the D mint mark. If you have one of these coins in your collection or pocket change, you might be surprised to learn what it's worth today. The Washington quarter is one of the most recognizable coins in American history. First introduced in 1932 to honor George Washington, the design has remained largely the same for decades. The 1989 quarter continues this tradition, featuring a left-facing portrait of George Washington on the obverse side, along with the word Liberty, the motto In God We Trust, and the year 1989. On the reverse side, you'll find the classic eagle design, with its wings spread wide, holding arrows and olive branches. This symbolizes both strength and peace. The words United States of America and quarter dollar are clearly visible, along with E pluribus unum. Now let's talk about the D mint mark. This small letter D, located on the obverse side near Washington's ponytail, indicates that the coin was minted in Denver. In 1989, the Denver Mint produced hundreds of millions of these quarters, so they are quite common in circulation. The coin is made of a copper-nickel-clad composition, which means it has a pure copper core surrounded by a nickel outer layer. It weighs about 5.67 grams and has a diameter of 24.3 millimeters. When it comes to value, condition plays a major role. In circulated condition, meaning the coin has been used in everyday transactions and shows visible wear, a 1989 D Washington quarter is generally worth its face value of 25 cents. However, in good condition or slightly better, collectors may pay around $0.50 to $1 for a clean example. If the coin is in uncirculated condition, meaning it has no wear and retains its original mint luster, the value can rise to around $2 to $5. For coins graded in high mint state conditions, such as MS65 or higher, the value can go even further, sometimes reaching $10 to $20, depending on quality and eye appeal. Coins with exceptional shine, sharp details, and no marks are always more desirable to collectors. Also keep an eye out for rare errors. Although not very common, mint errors like off-center strikes, double dies, or die cracks can significantly increase the value of this coin. So if you have a 1989 D Washington quarter, don't ignore it. Check its condition carefully, and you might just have a small treasure in your hands. Next coin, the 1988 Washington quarter dollar with the P mint mark. If you've ever found one of these coins in your pocket or collection, you might be wondering, is it valuable? Let's find out. The Washington quarter was first introduced in 1932 to honor the 200th birthday of George Washington, the first President of the United States. Designed by John Flanagan, this iconic coin features a left-facing portrait of Washington on the obverse, while the reverse shows a majestic eagle with outstretched wings, symbolizing strength and freedom. Now let's focus on the 1988 quarter struck at the Philadelphia Mint. The P mint mark, which appears on the obverse side near Washington's ponytail, indicates that this coin was minted in Philadelphia. Interestingly, before 1980, Philadelphia coins didn't carry a mint mark, so seeing a P is an important detail for modern collectors. The 1988 P Washington quarter is made from a copper-nickel-clad composition, meaning it has a pure copper core with outer layers of copper and nickel. It weighs about 5.67 grams and has a reeded edge, which helps prevent counterfeiting and wear. In terms of mintage, the Philadelphia Mint produced over 596 million quarters in 1988. That's a very large number, which means this coin is quite common in circulation even today. Now let's talk about condition and value. The part everyone is most curious about. If you have a 1988 P quarter in good circulated condition, meaning it shows some wear, but all major details are still visible, its value is typically around 0.25 to 0.52 US dollars. In other words, it's usually worth its face value, or just slightly more. However, if your coin is in uncirculated condition, with sharp details, no wear and a bright luster, the value can increase to around $1 to $3. High-grade coins graded MS65 or higher by professional grading services can sell for $5 to $15 or even more, depending on demand and eye appeal. There are also rare error coins to watch for. Some 1988 P quarters have been found with minting errors, like off-center strikes, double dies, or die cracks. These error coins can be worth anywhere from $20 to over $100, depending on the rarity and condition. Next coin, the 1987 Washington quarter with the P mint mark. If you have one of these coins in your collection or pocket change, you might be wondering how much it is worth today. Let's dive in and find out. The 1987 Washington quarter is part of the long-running Washington quarter series, first introduced in 1932 to honor the first president of the United States, George Washington. By 1987, these coins were being struck using a copper-nickel clad composition, meaning they're not made of silver like earlier quarters from before 1965. Now, let's talk about the mint mark. The P mint mark on your 1987 quarter stands for the Philadelphia Mint. Interestingly, 1987 was one of the years when the US Mint did not release official mint sets for collectors. Because of this, many collectors had to obtain coins directly from circulation, making higher quality examples a bit harder to find today. In terms of design, the obverse of the coin features the familiar portrait of George Washington facing left, along with the word Liberty at the top. In God We Trust on the left, and the year 1987 at the bottom. The reverse side displays the iconic eagle with outstretched wings, clutching arrows and an olive branch, symbolizing strength and peace. Surrounding it are the inscriptions United States of America and quarter dollar. Now let's get to the most important part, value. If your 1987 P Washington quarter is in good circulated condition, its value is generally around $0.25 to $0.50, which is close to its face value. These coins are very common in circulation. However, if you have a coin in uncirculated or mint state condition, the value can increase significantly. A high-quality 1987 P quarter in MS60 to MS63 condition might be worth around $1 to $3. If the coin is in EV beta condition, such as MS65 or higher, it can sell for $5 to $15 or more, depending on its luster, strike quality, and overall eye appeal. The real excitement comes with top-grade coins. Coins graded MS67 or higher by professional grading services can be worth $50, $100, or even more in rare cases. These are extremely hard to find and are highly sought after by serious collectors. Next coin, the 1986 Washington quarter with the P mint mark. If you have one of these coins in your collection, you might be wondering, is it valuable and how much is it worth today? Let's find out. The 1986 Washington quarter is part of the long-running Washington quarter series that began in 1932. This coin features the iconic portrait of George Washington on the obverse side, designed by John Flanagan. On the reverse, you'll see the classic eagle design, wings spread wide, holding arrows and an olive branch, symbolizing strength and peace. Now let's talk about the mint mark. The P mint mark on this coin means it was produced at the Philadelphia Mint. Interestingly, 1986 was one of the years when the Philadelphia Mint resumed using the P mint mark on quarters after a long gap, making it a notable detail for collectors. In terms of composition, the 1986 quarter is made of a copper-nickel clad, not silver. It contains a pure copper core with outer layers of nickel and copper. So, its value does not come from precious metal content, but rather from its condition and rarity. Now, let's get into what really matters, the value. If you have a 1986 P Washington quarter in circulated condition, meaning it has been used in everyday transactions and shows wear, its value is typically around 25 cents to about 50 cents. In other words, it's usually worth face value or just slightly more. However, if your coin is in good condition, meaning it has minimal wear and still retains decent detail, it could be worth around $1 to $3. For coins in uncirculated condition, where the coin has never been used and still has its original mint luster, the value increases significantly. These coins can sell for around $5 to $10, depending on quality. Now here's where things get really exciting. If you happen to own a high-grade example, such as coins graded MS65 or higher, the value can jump even more. Some top-quality coins have been sold for $20 or more in today's market. And don't forget, errors can make a huge difference. If your 1986 P quarter has mint errors like double die, off-center strike, or other unusual features, its value could rise dramatically, sometimes reaching hundreds of dollars depending on the rarity of the error. So, what should you do if you have one of these coins? First, check the condition carefully. Look for sharp details, original shine, and minimal scratches. Second, inspect the coin for any unusual errors. And finally, consider getting it graded if you believe it's in excellent condition. Next coin, the 1985 Washington quarter with a P mint mark. This coin might look common at first glance, but it has an interesting history and collectible value that every coin enthusiast should know. The Washington quarter was first introduced in 1932 to honor George Washington, the first president of the United States. By 1985, this coin had already become one of the most recognized pieces of American currency. The 1985 quarter features the familiar portrait of George Washington on the front, designed by John Flanagan. On the reverse side, you'll see the iconic eagle with outstretched wings, holding arrows and an olive branch, symbolizing both strength and peace. Now let's talk about the P mint mark. The P stands for the Philadelphia Mint, one of the oldest and most important minting facilities in the United States. Interestingly, before 1980, Philadelphia coins did not carry a mint mark, but by 1985, the P mint mark had become standard. So if your coin has a small P on the obverse side near Washington's ponytail, it confirms it was minted in Philadelphia. The 1985 P Washington quarter was produced in very large numbers, with over 776 million coins minted. Because of this high mintage, the coin is still quite common today. However, condition plays a huge role in determining its value. If your 1985 P quarter is in circulated condition, meaning it shows signs of wear from everyday use, its value is typically around $0.25 to $0.50, basically face value or slightly above. But if you have a coin in good condition, with minimal wear and decent detail, collectors may pay around $1 to $3 for it. Now, if your coin is in uncirculated condition, meaning it has never been used in daily transactions and still retains its original shine and sharp details, the value can increase to around $5 to $10. And in some rare cases, if the coin is in extremely high-grade condition, such as MS65 or higher, it could be worth $15 or even more to serious collectors. Another important factor to look for is errors. Some 1985 P quarters may have minting errors like off-center strikes, double dies, or other unusual features. These error coins can be significantly more valuable, sometimes reaching $20 to $50 or higher, depending on the rarity and visibility of the error. So, how can you tell if your coin is valuable? First, check the mint mark and confirm it's a 1985-inch P. Then examine the condition closely. Look at the details in Washington's hair and the eagle's feathers. The sharper the details and the shinier the surface, the higher the potential value. Also, keep an eye out for any unusual features that could indicate a mint error. In conclusion, while the 1985 P Washington quarter is a common coin, it still holds value for collectors, especially in good or uncirculated condition. It's a great example of how even everyday coins can become collectible treasures over time. If you enjoyed this video and want to learn more about rare and valuable coins from around the world, make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss an update. And don't forget to check your pocket change. You might already have a hidden gem waiting to be discovered.